Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Pagcor.
Get ready for an intense, extreme, exciting experience. Here's PCSO's newest, biggest game ever. The Ultra Lotto 658 for only 20 pesos per combination. 50 million pesos is at stake. Pick 6 numbers from 1 to 58. Hit the jackpot and be an ultra millionaire of 50 million pesos. Exciting consolation prizes await you ranging from 20 pesos up to 280,000 pesos. More numbers, bigger prizes. See posters and print ads for details.
Sa PCSO, bawat taya para sa kawang gawa. Isa na namang pagkilala ang ibinigay ng KBP sa DZRH sa katatapos na KBP Golden Dove Awards. Best Radio Public Service Program Host, Deo Macalma.
Ito ay lalong nagbibigay sa atin ng inspirasyon para lalong
Best Radio Newscaster, Angelo Palmones.
Ang pagbabalita para sa akin, hindi lang obligasyon. Ito'y isang karangalan.
Best Radio Children's Program, Boses ng Kabataan.
Para sa inyo to, para sa lahat to ng mga kabataan, mga nagpakita ng kanilang talento.
Best Radio Culture and Arts Program, Art to Art.
Kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa KBP para sa kanilang pagtitiwala at parangal.
Best Radio Drama Program, Batang Mujahideen Radyo Balik-Tanaw.
Taus-pusong nagpapasalamat sa KBP sapagkat ito ang...
Sa KBP, salamat. Ito ay aming inspirasyon para sa tuloy na pagbibigay ng tamang balita at tamang serbisyo sa bawat Pilipino.
Calling all fundraising organizations. Be a partner of PCSO to its newest project, PCSO Partner Tayo. Interested parties may visit the PCSO Product and Standard Development Department, 3rd floor, Conservatory Building, Shaw Boulevard, Mandaluyong City. You may also visit any of our branches in your vicinity or province or email us at pcso_marketing@yahoo.com. Partner tayo sa pagtulong sa Pilipino. Nakakatulong ka na, umaasenso ka pa.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng PCSO. Isang malaking tagumpay para sa ating kasundaluhan, partikular sa Administrasyong Duterte, ang tuluyang pagkamatay ng mga utak ng halos 5 buwan ng bakbakan ng pambansang kasundaluhan laban sa teroristang grupo ng Maute sa Marawi City. Kaya naman bilang pagbabalik-tanaw sa mga naging kaganapan dito, alamin natin sa tapatan ni Rafi Alunan at Dato Nuruddin Alonto Lukman ang kanilang mismong naranasan sa ilalim ng mula nang magsimula ang nasabing giyera at habang nagpapatuloy ang bakbakan.
May ako mga itatanong sa iyo, Nor, about the fighting in Marawi. Sino yung mga kalaban ng taong bayan doon sa Marawi? Ano yung mga pinaghihirapan ng ating mga kasundaluhan doon, yung mga residente ng Marawi, at yung mga tinulong mo to safer grounds. Kasi along the way, lumaki ng lumaki or lumobo yung grupo na yon. So let's start with your observation of the war in Marawi, the battle for Marawi from day one. Or maybe we can start from the time that unti-unti nag-infiltrate yung kalaban sa Marawi. You can start from there up to the present time.
Totoo po yan, sir. 2 months prior to the siege, alam namin na may pumapasok na mga foreigners. At saka may mga yakans in Maguindanao. It's already, through gossip actually, rumor mill. And we know that there are guns that were being smuggled into the city. I thought that the military is on top of the situation. But I'm just a civilian. I don't have to say anything. I thought that this kind of activity is already monitored by the intelligence agencies of our government. So Itong nangyari sa Marawi, talagang biglaan. It just exploded right in our faces.
Well, there are two parts to what you just said. There was a build-up, but unknown to many people in Marawi. Is that correct? And you were assuming that the military intelligence community was aware of the build-up.
That's right, that's right. And there was this smoke screen because at that time, may congregation, Mubalig, Tabligh convention in the city, and there were so many visitors, foreigners, and people from different walks of life.
So that was timed.
That was timed, yes. Little did we know that that was already the point of infiltration into the city. And come 0 hour, it just exploded, just like that.
Okay, yung Tabligh convention na yon, how long, matagal ba yung preparasyon na yan for that convention, and was it widely announced?
Yes, because foreigners were invited to come to the congregation from Pakistan, from many parts of the world, Muslim countries, and they really prepared for that. Mind you, Tabligh International is not part of it. Maybe some of their members are involved, but not the whole organization. In fact, the organization preached peace and harmony among peoples in Mindanao.
I remember, Noor, when I was the ALG secretary, I was also concurrently the chairman of the National Peace and Order Council. And in Lanao, the Tabligh were my peace partners.
That's right. That's right.
We had an understanding, and as a matter of fact, they were very much involved in on certain occasions in serving in crisis management committees that we formed to resolve local crises. But as you say, and this is true for every organization, there will always be a number that are extremist, especially in ARMM, where a lot of rebel groups exist. No? As a matter of fact, the Office of the Solicitor General just came out with a list of 20 terrorist cells that are connected or linked to 4 major terrorist groups identified here in the Philippines.
That's right.
To include the Abu Sayyaf group, the Maute group, the Ansar Khilafa group, and
BIFF.
and the BIFF. So 4 na yon, and then there are 20 terror cells that are linked to these, no? Yun ang tinatawag natin na whole of terror network that the government and society are facing.
That's right.
So during that period where pumapasok for the Tabligh Convention, mga locals at saka yung mga foreigners, walang napipick up ng Marawi citizenry na pati yung mga fighters ng ISIS at saka mga terror groups ay sumali na rin doon in disguise. Kasi ang nakapagtataka, ang daming kalaban, very well armed, ang dami ng ammunition nila, and at saka preposition yung mga supplies, no? And that took a lot of preparations. Why do you think there was a failure to divulge the presence of these people?
Well, what happened was that while this congregation was taking place, and there are thousands of members and visitors who came to the city, there's this approaching month of Ramadan, where families actually are united, and families are buying foodstuffs and all kinds of goodies to prepare for the month of Ramadan, and it's a jovial mood actually. Everybody's very happy. Nobody was expecting that somebody would plan something like that. In fact, coinciding an attack, a military attack on the day of Ramadan and in a Muslim land is a violation of the Quran. It is prohibited, it is forbidden for Muslims to engage in war in a Muslim land, especially on holidays like Ramadan or Eid al-Fitr. It says that is very clear in the Quran, because if Muslims violate this rule, God will punish them. That's in the Quran. So nobody was expecting that this will happen the month of Ramadan. So there was this total chaos after that when the first shots rang out in the area where some politicians live. We monitored about 200 armed men who came from that certain area in Marawi city and attacked government structures and even the camps on the other side of the river. The sad part is that when this happened, the military were engaged on the other side of the river in Basak Malatlat, neglecting the bigger part of the city, so that the main force of the ISIS militants who are on the other side of the city were able to barricade the bridges and prevent the military to pass through the bridges. So that really prolonged the conflict, the armed conflict.
So would you say it was a diversionary attack so
That's
that they
right,
could
yeah.
control a bigger portion of Marawi?
Yes, and we saw that because most of the big fighting, took place on the other side of the river, not in the place where the army camp is.
Yeah. Nor how many, in your estimate, how many terrorists were engaged?
Well, I estimate about, there were about 200 in that area.
But overall,
Overall,
what did you pick up from the people there?
600 militants.
About
plus
600 fighters?
600 fighters plus 200 from the jailbreak.
Okay, that
And,
presumably they joined in the
That's
fight.
right, and so that's add up to the to the militants' manpower.
Plus
and,
the residents who
well,
may
there
have
are
joined
some. We receive reports that there are residents who joined in, but
Yeah.
this is very
sketchy.
sketchy.
But most likely these residents are maybe members of private armed groups that were allied with certain politicians.
Sir, you will be surprised that these civilians who joined in turned out to be Aket Bahay gangs, because they
criminal
have
gangs.
already anticipated some kind of looting.
Ah.
People will vacate their homes, and that's it.
But you did mention that there were politicians that were involved here. Can you please describe?
Well, I don't have to name names,
Yeah.
but we know that there are political criminals involved, drug lords, and then of course the Islamic
Drug lords who became politicians.
that's
So
right,
narco-politicians.
narco-politicians,
Okay.
yes. And then add to
Incumbent and past.
this, some of them incumbent,
Some incumbent
some-
and some past.
past, yes.
Okay.
And then you add these extremists into the group, and you get chaos, jeopardy.
Okay, well,
That's what happened.
the involvement of drug syndicates or drug lords was underscored by the fact that it was discovered that many of the fighters were taking shabu.
That's right, yeah.
So that's validated
That's
information?
right, yeah. We know that they are taking shabu. And in fact, there were some, there are reports of army actually finding shabu in houses where they barged in.
Okay. From your observation, from your vantage point, what do you think made it difficult for the armed forces and the Philippine National Police to quickly defeat the armed force? What did they have working for them in terms of as far as the enemy is concerned? What was working in their favor?
Our soldiers are very brave, no doubt about that. They are very good, but the equipment, they lack equipment for to organize some kind of quick reaction forces.
You mean equipment for urban warfare?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And we don't have tanks to hurdle barricades and that kind of thing, because I noticed that our tanks are incapable of hurdling.
Actually, we don't have any
barricades.
tanks. We have armored personnel carriers and lightly armed fighting vehicles, but not
That's
really
right,
tanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not,
I think that's a good observation.
yes, not good enough. And well, it's sad to see some of our tanks being fitted with wooden planks to deflect the RPG. Well, that's a sorry state of our,
Actually, popular mechanics found it very, because it's also done abroad, no? Lightly armorized fighting vehicles are sandbagged,
Yes.
or sometimes protected also by wood to
right.
precisely deflect. In fact, popular mechanics says it's an ingenious way of saving the tank and deflecting the RPGs.
I noticed that in the first 3 days of the fighting, it was a conventional warfare. Really conventional. I heard a lot of RPGs, mortars, sniper rifles, for example.
Yes, and the fact
Big
that
ones.
the armed forces was using combined arms, artillery,
Yeah.
mortar, air, and
And then you have
armor.
helicopter gunships
Yes.
and P-34s. Everything is there.
Yeah.
Conventional warfare. And then on the 6th day, I noticed that the shooting died down a little bit because the ISIS militants reverted to sniping positions. Just snipe.
Nur, ilan ba ang barangay sa Marawi City?
90 plus? I think.
96, ano?
96,
Meron
yes.
ako nabasa 96. Ilan sa 96 ang na-control ng mga rebelde, terorista?
Well, the first 2 days, marami. But I couldn't tell where. But
Would
I
you
know
say
that
they
there are-
occupied half of the city?
Yes.
Easily, kalahati ng
Kalahati, yes.
ng lungsod. Hawak nila.
Hawak nila talaga. At saka
Pati
meron
yung
pang...
commercial center, yung
Yes.
center point.
Yes.
Kasi mga bangko, they were able to loot it.
Na-control nga nila yun. Grabe talaga. So, unfortunate. Very sad.
Okay. So now, you left Marawi yesterday. It's now June 21. At patuloy pa rin ang labanan. Can you please describe to us the fighting at this point? Is it waning or malakas pa rin?
Well, as of yesterday, I was informed that there were about 70 of them left in a certain area in Marawi City. That means their numbers have decimated. So this is the job for the Special Action Force to clear the area.
You said there was about 600, and then joined in by another 200 that were released from the jail, plus other civilians that may have joined, right? So that was a formidable fighting force that the armed forces had to deal with. How many of the 800 or so were foreign fighters? Ano bang balita mo doon?
More or less, not more than 100, I think.
And these are from different lands.
Yeah, from the Middle East, from East Asia, for example. Some from Malaysia, Indonesia.
So
Others
we had
from
an international force there of terrorists fighting side by side with our local terrorists.
Well, you see, this is very sad because this is the first time in our history that Maranaos actually followed a non-Maranao in the battle. Hapilon is a Tausug, or whoever it is. And people are wondering why. Why allow this Tausug to destroy our city? So, like I said, Secretary Lorenzana was there, General Sanio was there, General Galvez was there. I said, from day one, the rebellion has failed. I said that. Why? Because from day one, the people just fled the city. The ISIS militants were hoping that once the shooting starts, the people will rise up
To fight
against the
back and
government.
protect them.
Yeah, help them, protect them, or rise up against the government. But that didn't.
And to seize the city.
That's right.
right.
That didn't happen. Just like what happened in 1972. So the rebellion failed, or the invasion failed.
So, what message would you give to the audience? Dahil sa, right after Marawi, Marawi erupted, President Duterte declared martial law all over Mindanao, right? Given what happened in Marawi, given the profile of the protagonists and the acts against humanity that are taking place in different parts of Mindanao, as a Maranao, as a member of the clan, and as a resident of Marawi, would you say na tama yung ginawa ni Presidente to declare martial law all over Mindanao on the basis that of a rebellion and an invasion?
Oh yes, yes, of course. Okay, here's the score. Before the siege, martial law was imperative. Imperative.
Even before Marawi?
Yes. After the siege, martial law became a necessary evil. This is to weed out the vicious and murderous groups of political criminals and drug lords who financed the rebellion. Not to mention the reach and capability of ISIS, which has networks of sleeper cells worldwide to discredit the image of Islam. I hope the government will investigate this, and the official government inquest will see to that.
So you just said that in terms of funding, drug money is funding the rebels and the invaders, as well as ISIS itself, which has plenty of money.
Well, according to reports, they will occupy the provincial capital. This lad's my sister, the governor of Lanao del Sur, and the vice governor, my nephew, Bombit Adjong. And this lad's my brother, who is the regional vice governor of ARMM. Replace it with people. In fact, there are reports to that effect. They have already prepared something like replacing the provincial government and the ARMM leadership. You know that, but it failed.
Bahagi na ng tagumpay na ito ng bansa ay ang tagumpay ng mga naging estratehiya ng Armed Forces of the Philippines o AFP upang tuluyang masugpo ang teroristang grupo. At sa pagkakataong ito, balikan natin ang ilang bahagi na naging tapatan ni Rafi Alunan at Brigadier General Restituto Padilla patungkol sa mga hakbang na kanilang ginawa upang muling maibangon ng Marawi City.
Ano bang nangyayari sa Marawi ngayon?
Sa Marawi po ngayon, 4 na bagay po ang ginagawa ng military ngayon dyan. Ang pangunahin pong activity ng ating military forces ay hanapin ang bawat armadong individual na nariyan ngayon at linisin ang buong Marawi sa mga bandidong ito. Kasi itong mga armadong ito ang maaaring makapanakit at makapanira ng mga paggalaw natin dyan. Pag natapos po natin yan, ang isa nating pinagtutuunan ng pansin is yung pag-rescue po sa patuloy na naiipit sa loob ng mga bakbakan. Ito pong mga residente na hindi po lumikas noong mga unang araw at nanatili sa kanilang mga bahay na maaaring maging kasangkapan ng mga teroristang ito, mga rebeldeng ito, at yung mga iba pa na nariyan sa loob ng kanilang mga tahanan na natatakot lumabas at lumikas. Yung pangatlo po, yung patuloy na pag-recover ng mga naging casualties, naging biktima, at ng iba pa pong mga naiwan nitong mga nakaraang mga araw na mga sibilyan lalo na. At yung pang-apat is yung patuloy nating pagtulong sa mga civil society organizations, lalo sa LGU, sa NGOs na nagbibigay ng tulong sa mga evacuees natin at saka sa mga IDPs. So ito pong 4 na ito po yung 4 military areas na binibigyan natin ng pansin. Ang pinaka-importante po dyan ay yung naunang 2.
Okay, doon sa una, yung defeating the enemy. Could you describe yung profile ng kalaban? Ang naririnig namin, this is a coalition of different forces.
Opo.
Could you please describe?
Ito po kasing grupo na hinaharap natin ngayon dyan ay matagal na nating nalalaman na grouping ng mga local terrorist groups. So, ang pangunahing local terrorist group dyan na nangunguna at nag-oorganisa nito ay itong grupo po ng mga Maute Brothers. At itong Maute Brothers ay nagsimula sa creation ng isang maliit na grupo na nakakuha ng kanilang panimula sa JI, sa Jemaah Islamiyah. At itong Jemaah Islamiyah na to ay nanggaling ang paniniwalang ito sa isang Indonesian cleric nagngangalang si alias Sanusi na napatay natin sa isang military operasyon.
Para klaro lang, yung Jemaah Islamiyah, ito yung Southeast Asian arm ng Al-Qaeda.
Opo, Jemaah Islamiyah, Al-Qaeda, ito po yung mga mga sinalumang mga terrorist organizations na kilala nung araw.
Kay Osama Bin Laden yun.
Kay Osama Bin Laden.
Okay.
Pero nung nawala po si Osama Bin Laden at siya po ay na-neutralize na rin at nakuha ng US forces sa Pakistan, ang nangyari po they slowly suffered a slow decline. And that slow decline led almost to their non-existence. Tapos, yun ang nagbigay daan po ngayon sa pagkabuhay ng isa pang grupo. Ito po yung kinikilala natin ngayon na mas matinding grupo ng Daesh o ISIS na siyang naghahasik ng kaguluhan sa gitnang silangan. So ito pong Maute group na magkakapatid, they drew their inspiration initially from JI at saka Al-Qaeda, at ang kanilang mga nakuhang natutunan ay yung kanilang linkages kasi nag-aral po sa abroad yung magkapatid. May pera po sila, mayaman sila, may kaya.
Saan nag-aral?
Sa Egypt at saka sa Jordan po, itong dalawang magkapatid. So, doon sila na ngayon nung nagsisimula ang yung tinatawag na Middle East storm, yung
Arab Spring.
The Arab Spring was starting. Dumami ngayon yung mga inclined sa extremism and radicalism. Doon po sila sa mga panahon na yon na napunta sa gitnang silangan at na-link sila at nakapag-ugnayan sila sa mga grupong ito. Doon nila nakuha ngayon yung radical and extremist teachings na kanilang inuwi dito.
Yung ISIS doon pinanganak sa Arab Spring?
Hindi po. Ito pong ISIS-ISIL ay nanggaling po sa grupo dyan sa may Iraq na kinreate nung nilusob po ito. Nagkaroon po ng grupo dito na nag-create nitong ISIS-ISIL.
So bago pa yung Arab Spring, meron ng ISIS?
Mayroon pong mga simulain. At
okay.
Ngayon, lumaki ito dahil na-fuel pa ito ng Arab Spring.
Okay.
So ito pong sa grupo ng magkakapatid na ito, nung hindi na po naging tanyag ang JI at saka itong Al-Qaeda, sila naman po ay pumanig ngayon dito sa Daesh-ISIS. Kasi ito ang lumalaki at nagiging tanyag na grupo. At dahil dyan, ganun din yung naging takbo ng ibang grupo na nasa may south natin sa Mindanao. Ito po yung ASG, yung Abu Sayyaf Group na kinikilala at naging tanyag sa kanilang mga kidnap for ransom activities para makaraise ng funds. May ilan dyan na pinamunuan itong si Isninon Hapilon na nag-profess ng allegiance dito sa ISIS. At ganun din ang ginawa nitong Maute Group. At ngayon, ito po sila ay nagsumikap na mag-unite, magkaisa. Dahil ito pong kanilang pag-profess ng allegiance ay naging tugma dun sa mga nakuha nilang aral dun sa Daesh. At hindi lang po, may mga iba pa pong local terrorist group ngayon na sumanib puwersa na rin na hinikayat nilang makisali sa kanila. Ito po yung maliliit na grupo. Yung ibang miyembro ng BIFF at ang AKP at pati na yung mga Magid group na tinatawag. So, by and large, ito pong mga grupong ito ngayon ang nagpunta dyan sa Marawi.
Ano itong AKP, General?
Ito pong Ansar al-Khilafah Philippines. Yan po yung kay alias Tokboy, na neutralized na grupo. Maliit lang po ito, pero na-neutralize po yung kanilang leader dyan po sa may General Santos. At may natirang mga iba na siyang ngayon nagpunta dun at sumapi dun sa grupo ngayon po na kinreate nitong mga Maute Brothers.
May mga nagsasabi na pati yung grupong RSM daw kasama. Totoo ba yun?
Hindi ko po batid yung tunay na koneksyon, pero maaari po dahil lahat po ng mga extremist radicals na grupo ay ngayon ay nagsisanib puwersa na sa grupong ito. Kaya nga ang aming hinala, they who were wanting to get recognition from Daesh, ito po ang nakita nilang pamamaraan na pinakamagandang gawing halimbawa o manner ng kanilang pagkuha ng recognition. So, dun sa mga lumabas pong video na nakita nyo, ang ating pong nakikita dun ay mariing pagpaplano. It was an extensive planning session to wreak havoc, to burn, to destroy Marawi, and to spread the terrorism.
When did they plan that? Yung video na yun, when was it taken?
Ang mga video po na nakita natin ay maaring nangyari po nung simula ng taong ito. Yung isang video po na lumabas recently sa simula po ng taong ito at yung iba naman ay kamakailan lamang bago po na tukoy at sinubukang arestuhin yung grupo niya sa Apilon.
Okay. Whenever we talk of the Battle of Marawi, pumapasok din sa ulo namin, yung audience, yung battle for Zamboanga, yung Zamboanga Siege,
Zamboanga Siege.
which took place a few years ago,
2013 po.
2013. Ano yung kaibahan at saka yung similarities ng Zamboanga Siege at saka yung Battle for Marawi in terms of battle tactics at saka profile ng mga rebel groups?
Unang-una po sa profile ng rebel group, ibang grupo po yung dun sa Zamboanga Siege. Ito po yung grupo ni Miswari na pumasok at nag-attempt na kunin yung magtaas ng bandila nila sa loob mismo ng Zamboanga City. Dito naman po sa kabilang dako, ang Marawi naman po ay pinasok ng mas teroristang grupo, mas radikal at mas ekstremismong grupo ng combined forces ng ASG Mauti Brothers, no? At ang kanilang affiliation ay maliwanag na nililink nila sa Daesh. So yun po ang kaibahan ng profile ng mga puwersa na ngayon dyan na inaharap natin. Ngayon dito po sa terrain naman, pareho po. They're both urban, mga bahayan at commercial district. Ang nagiging complicating factor lang po dito, ito pong sa Zamboanga, maliwanag po ang delineation na nangyari sa atin. Dahil may isang sector, isang side ng Zamboanga nang natunto natin na panggagalingan nila. Kaya yung ating mga puwersa nakakonsentrate at nalock yung lugar na yun at hindi nila napasok yung main commercial area ng syudad ng Zamboanga. Dito naman po sa Marawi, mas naging complicated dahil nakagalaw sila ng libre ng mga initial na araw at napasok nila yung mga education centers, yung mga places of worship ng mga different religions, napuntahan nila ang commercial district.
Meaning to say, they were able to loot the banks as well.
Lahat po, they were able to ransack armories. That's why they went to the jail to free the the prisoners, many of whom have been imprisoned because of terror activities, and so they had new people joining into their ranks. They ransacked the armory to add more to their firearms and ammunition, and other places where the police kept some of their supplies, and other areas that could have contributed to their sustaining power at this time. So may plano rin po, nakita natin sa video nung isang araw, na pinagpaplanuhan nila talagang sukubin o lusubin at ma-overrun yung kampo ng militar na nandun po sa may Marawi. So ang talaga pong pakay nila dyan ay kunin at kontrolin ang buong Marawi at ipakita na kaya nilang gawin ito at kontrolin ito bilang kanilang lugar.
To declare a wilayat.
Yun po, isang caliphate o probinsya, pero maliwanag po itong isang act of rebellion.
Yeah.
At yan po ang tinugunan natin ngayon ng pansin.
Okay, naalala ko tuloy yung nung kinikwento mo, yung nangyari sa Marawi. Pumasok din sa kaisipan ko yung nangyari sa April 1995. Kasi ang mga
sinunog po ang Ipil.
Sinunog ang April, there are more than 100 civilian casualties, dead and wounded. Sinunog yung commercial center.
Opo.
Linut yung commercial establishments, pati mga bangko.
Opo.
At yung puwersa na pumasok sa April ay composite force din from the mainland at saka sa island provinces under the banner of the Islamic Command Council.
Opo. Pero ang main forces po doon, karamihan na sir, ay ASG rin.
ASG.
Mga simulaing araw nila.
Yes, ASG was the main force.
Opo.
But there were some extremist groups or elements from the mainland na sumali.
Meron po.
Yeah. Yung military operations in urban terrain or MOUT, no, requires specialized warfare units that are trained precisely for that purpose, no. And would you say that yung urban warfare skills nitong kalaban natin this time around in Marawi, were they an upgraded version of their fighting skills that you've observed before, meaning to say, na-scale up yung capacity nila for urban warfare because of the involvement of foreign fighters from Iraq and Syria?
Maaari po. Kung meron po talagang naging partisipasyon yung mga ibang foreign fighters na nanggaling na sa gitnang silangan, mayroon silang dalang experience and exposure sa ganitong klaseng environment. At maaring yan ay nakatulong sa kanila dahil sa nangyari, nakita naman natin na in-employ nila yung mga taktika na pang urban terrain. Pagkuha ng mga vantage point, lalagyan po ng mga ilang tao na gagamitin na pang snipe at para mapigil yung pagpasok ng mga armadong grupo ng pamahalaan at iba pa. So ito po'y parte nung ganung klaseng pagkikipaglaban sa ganung environment. At maaari po. Or pwede rin pong sa dami na ng pinanood nilang mga Hollywood produced movies, may mapupulot po kayong mga aral doon maski papano na paunti-unti at maaaring yan ang kanilang ginagawa.
Yung taktika sa Marawi, more or less ba, parang may similarity doon sa taktika ginamit sa Zamboanga?
Hindi po kasi medyo na-preempt natin ng husto itong sa Zamboanga. Nagkataon, na-localize natin sa isang sektor. Kaya lang, ayaw pong bumigay at talagang ng laban, kaya po naging ganun ang pinsala sa isang sektor ng Zamboanga.
O kasi snipers din ginamit nila doon.
Opo, ganun din po ang ginawa.
Oo. At saka ang ginamit din natin yung
Air power.
close air support, no? CAS. Would you say that given the two experiences, there are lessons to be learned where we can do things better and defeat the enemy much more efficiently and quicker the next time around?
In both situations, definitely, madami po tayo napupulot na aral. Yung aral po na nakuha natin sa Zamboanga Siege, ina-apply po natin yung iba ngayon dyan sa Marawi. Ganun din, mayroon pa rin pa tayo na kukuhang aral ngayon dito sa sinasagawang operasyon dyan sa Marawi na magdadagdag o idadagdag natin dun sa compendium ng mga best practices natin at saka mga lessons learned. So, by and large, all of this will be part and parcel of our learnings and whatever we take away from this incident right now will be things that will improve our procedures, our tactics, and our techniques.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng PAGCOR.
Calling all fundraising organizations. Be a partner of PCSO to its newest project, PCSO Partner Tayo. Interested parties may visit the PCSO Product and Standard Development Department, 3rd floor, Conservatory Building, Shaw Boulevard, Mandaluyong City. You may also visit any of our branches in your vicinity or province or email us at pcso_marketing@yahoo.com. Partner tayo sa pagtulong sa Pilipino. Nakakatulong ka na, umaasenso ka pa.
Reklamong totoong pinakikinggan. Reklamong talagang pinag-uusapan. Reklamong talagang tinututukan. Pinakikinggan, pinag-uusapan, tinututukan. Sama-sama, sabay-sabay at tuloy-tuloy nating tutukan si Greco sa programa Ireklamo kay Greco. Kasama si Greco. Greco Belgica. Linggo, alas 2 ng hapon. Sabayang matututukan sa DZRH News Television, DZRH Radio, DZRH News Television Facebook at YouTube live channel at dzrhnews.com. Ireklamo kay Greco.
Get ready for an intense, extreme, exciting experience. Here's PCSO's newest, biggest game ever. The Ultra Lotto 658 for only 20 pesos per combination. 50 million pesos is at stake. Pick 6 numbers from 1 to 58. Hit the jackpot and be an ultra millionaire of 50 million pesos. Exciting consolation prizes await you ranging from 20 pesos up to 280,000 pesos. More numbers, bigger prizes. See posters and print ads for details.
Sa PCSO, bawat taya para sa kawang gawa. Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng PCSO. Matapos ang isang malaking tagumpay, napapanahon na upang muling ibangon na napilay sa pamumuhay ng mga kababayan natin sa Marawi na halos 5 buwan nilang ininda. Ngayon, balikan natin ang mga planong inilatang ng ilang mga kababaihang makikibahagi sa isasagawang rehabilitasyon sa Marawi sa naging tapatan ni na Rafi Alunan, Dr. Sharon Reyes, Sister Eva Fidela Maamo at Lynn Alano Abanilla.
Anong mga pinaplano natin for medical missions sa Marawi?
This kind of disaster is not already natural, but it's man-made. So, I've heard that these people from Marawi were evacuated to centers in Iligan City, and in every evacuation center, there's always the high incidence of diseases transmitting to each other, especially in children. So, joining this mission to extend medical and with Sister Eva, the surgical group, will be able to attend to these patients who were still unable to go out of their area to seek medical treatment. That's why we're coming in.
Far, we have already recruited the team, and we included already 3 dentists. They're coming with us.
Sister, you are a surgeon. And I recall that you also brought a team of surgeons. What kind of surgery did you perform in Leyte?
In Leyte, most of the surgeries that we did, sir, were more of local excisions and minor cases. But the cases that were major, we have to do them in the hospitals.
Were you able to do that in the hospital?
There were
during that
some
time?
that we did, but very few. But most of the cases were minor.
Okay.
Cases.
And these minor cases had to do with mga pigsa, ganun?
Mga pigsa,
usually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we have
it's
prepared
mga skin,
for
no?
that.
Skin afflictions.
Yeah. Valin, my staff, who
Yes.
is a midwife, has prepared already the things that we need for surgeries, and also there are some people who volunteered to find out where they can secure medicines who are cheap.
Okay. Did you deal with disaster victims that lost their limbs?
There were some, sir. There were some.
Oh, there
And
were
this
some.
time we have also an orthopedic coming with us.
Okay, that's a good point because this is where Lynn comes in because of your position with the Physicians for Peace and where you've concentrated on providing prosthesis to people who have lost their limbs, no?
Yeah.
Both disaster victims and war victims. Could you talk to us more about that?
Well, first of all, I come here as a Rotarian, very basically, and as a member of Physicians for Peace.
Yeah.
I am very happy that I'll be working with all of you here for our humanitarian assistance in Marawi. We will be joining the medical group, of course, when we conduct the healthcare mission for the Marawi victims.
Yeah.
But we're also willing to be part of the rehabilitation or identification of those who lost their legs and limbs.
Yeah.
Although Physicians for Peace is just concentrating or focusing on the lower limb, like below knee and upper knee, but we can
So basically
coordinate
the legs,
with-
just the legs.
We can coordinate and find some people who are into the provision of arms, lost their arms. We are also able to provide other mobility devices for those needing, like wheelchairs and crutches and canes, and for the blind, because we have our partners, like the Latter-day Saints and other partners that help us provide this. So Physicians for Peace, again, believes in the power of sharing and networking and a complementing work, because I'm very happy that Rotary is very much involved. And I'm happy also that you mentioned we're trying to encourage all Rotarians in the Philippines to come into the fold and be part of this. It's going to be a huge humanitarian service that we are going to do in Marawi and Iligan City right now, because this is where our victims are.
Yes.
So with our collaborative efforts, I'm sure we'll be able to do that.
We were in Viluna last week, and the severely injured from Marawi, among our soldiers, are confined in Viluna, and many of them were had lost their limbs, their eyesight, and we're looking forward to assistance from Rotary.
Yeah.
Like one fellow there that I talked to, he lost his leg 6 months ago.
In the war? Or?
Not in Marawi, but in another
Yeah, in another
battle area.
Yeah.
He was ambushed, and the bullet hit his bone and crushed it, and they had to amputate because it was getting infected already. I think the problem of gangrene was setting in. So he said he was looking forward to somebody who could help him regain his
Viluna has
his
a
mobility.
facility for provision of artificial legs.
Yeah, yes, I think
Not enough.
there are donors, and I think there is some assistance there coming from the armed forces. But again, given the
There's always the huge
given the
need,
surge,
yeah.
the surge of amputees, coming from the war, it will really need our help.
Yeah.
In the course of the conduct of your medical missions, you've encountered people who've sort of lost their senses, so to speak. In medical terms, ang tawag dyan ay post-traumatic stress disorder. At in the words of some psychiatrists that I've spoken to, ang sabi nila, yung post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD ay kung malubhang-malubha yung affliction, is asymptomatic, well, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but it mirrors depression, or it leads to depression. Right?
Exactly.
And people in deep depression either use drugs to escape their turmoil inside, their inner turmoil, or at times even commit suicide to end it all. And there have been cases of suicide already. Have you encountered that in your medcaps, and have you ever discussed how to deal with that? Pinag-usapan ba natin yan sa mga medcaps ninyo?
Sir, during Yolanda, that was the first time we went to Tacloban for our first medcap in Yolanda. There was this one old guy who was just in front of a makeshift graveyard, and he was just talking to the soil. We were watching at the back, and we spent probably an hour watching that man. And when we came near that guy, he was talking to the soil, and he was just talking just like he was conversing with people. So we started conversing with the man, and we asked, "Sino pong kausap nyo?" He was talking to his wife. He said, "Kausap ko yung asawa ko, kausap ko yung pamangking ko." In that, just like this table, that size, there were 9. He couldn't locate the bodies, but he just assumed that they were there.
Yeah.
So that's one case of a post-traumatic distress disorder. He was talking and talking as if somebody was replying to him.
One of the things that come out of these stories, is that people who are not treated become very unproductive.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Disturbed na sila eh.
Yeah.
They're very disturbed. And of course, that if there are many of them, that impacts on economic productivity, income, and relations with personal relations. It affects relations with the family and relationships with the community. And therefore requires
intervention.
Preventional help, professional help.
Yes.
Medical intervention. And this is one of the items that we're looking at.
Yeah, we're trying to include that in our humanitarian assistance.
Yeah, Lynn, could you talk to us more about that? What are we doing towards that end?
We're of course talking to psychologists and psychiatrists to give us the proper intervention that we can do, because we realize there is really a need.
Yeah.
There are so many people there that hindi naman siguro seryoso, but the fact that your mind is already disturbed because maraming reasons pwedeng nawalan ng pamilya, pwede ring hunger, pwede rin yung distraction niya dahil hindi niya na alam kung asa na ba ako. These are just a few things or some factors that affects the mind of the person, and therefore distracted siya. Kaya kailangan tulungan talaga ang mga taong nasa ganyang situation. So we're very happy that we have psychiatrists and psychologists, but we need more.
Yeah.
So yung mga nakakarinig sa amin, baka gusto nyo mag-volunteer na magbigay ng serbisyo sa ganitong aspeto, pagtulong-tulungan natin that we'll be able to do something on this PTSD program that we will do. This is just one part of the humanitarian assistance that through the leadership of Secretary Rafi and the Rotary Club of Manila and us, our fellow Rotarians and friends of Rotary, we're trying to get all these other needs that we saw, that we realized there's a need to meet. Like for example, the trauma that these people are experiencing, the hunger, so we do feeding, the medical attention that they need. That's why the three of us here, three ladies, are working on the med cups. And not only that, we're also providing water. Not just
Yung
the bottled water, but
hygiene
we're trying our best that we will be able to give a water facility.
Water, shower, bath.
Yes, and
yeah,
even
toilet.
the other needs that have been presented to us.
Yeah, for hygiene.
I'm very happy that you've been there, but the stories we've heard also reaffirm all these needs. So it's not an easy thing to do. We need everybody's help.
Lynn, we are basically trying to get first experts mobilized there in Mindanao, right? And then we will provide augmentation
Yes.
from Manila. That's really the best way to divide the labor and to be cost efficient, no? Cost
Yes.
effective. The same thing I think applies to our medical missions, right?
Yes, sir.
Using the locals.
Using the locals, and then what we do is we augment that with whatever medical supplies and medicines we can get from here and push it down there. Right?
And expertise that are not there.
Yes, that we can provide
Yeah,
from
that
here.
you can provide.
That's
But
right.
I am very positive. There are a lot of people waiting to be tapped. People in the areas near Iligan City and Marawi. We just have to
Make them aware.
yes, and invite them to come
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And I think everybody has a good heart.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng PAGCOR.
Calling all fundraising organizations. Be a partner of PCSO to its newest project, PCSO Partner Tayo. Interested parties may visit the PCSO Product and Standard Development Department, 3rd floor, Conservatory Building, Shaw Boulevard, Mandaluyong City. You may also visit any of our branches in your vicinity or province or email us at pcso_marketing@yahoo.com. Partner tayo sa pagtulong sa Pilipino. Nakakatulong ka na, umaasenso ka pa.
Feeling mo ba out ka sa mga kwentuhan? Feeling mo ba left out ka sa topic? Baka di mo alam ang trending. Baka di mo pa napanood ang viral. Tuwing Sabado, 6 p.m., di ka ma-OP sa kwentuhan sa social media. Pagsasamahin ko ang mga video na viral, video na trending. Kasama niyo ako, Victor De Guzman. Ulit, Sabado, magkita-kita tayo, 6 p.m. Live sa TV, DZRH2's television at live sa social media, Facebook at YouTube sa DZRH News Television.
TNVS Trending and Viral Show. Sabado, 6 p.m. sa DZRH News Television.
Get ready for an intense, extreme, exciting experience. Here's PCSO's newest, biggest game ever. The Ultra Lotto 658 for only 20 pesos per combination. 50 million pesos is at stake. Pick 6 numbers from 1 to 58. Hit the jackpot and be an ultra millionaire of 50 million pesos. Exciting consolation prizes await you ranging from 20 pesos up to 280,000 pesos. More numbers, bigger prizes. See posters and print ads for details.
Sa PCSO, bawat taya para sa kawang gawa. Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng PCSO.